Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. Grab a cup of coffee and let's join Rob Statham for another informative discussion helping people learn from things that go wrong.
I'm glad you joined us. Root cause analysis is not enough. I'd like to talk to you how latent cause analysis really changes everything. You need to rethink your approach to root cause analysis. There's certainly value in the process that industries have grabbed a hold of. There's also some confusion with it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. People use the term root cause analysis and they can do almost anything they want. But what I want to talk to you about is to get beyond that, to get a little deeper, where you understand how to drive the right change. And that's what latent cause analysis helps us with. Root cause analysis, or RCA, has been a cornerstone for safety professionals, reliability managers, supervisors, anyone who wants to try and understand or identify why incidents happen. Yet, despite widespread use, many organizations and people out there who I'm probably talking to right now, you find yourself stuck, honestly, in a repetitive cycle of very similar problems. And I think I can help you. The reason lies in the limitation of uh, traditional root cause analysis. Uh, Unfortunately, it stops at uh, far too often at surface level causes. And it glosses over the deeper underlying issues that literally are feeding problems within an organization. Organizations are made up of people. As much as that may be point that we want to avoid or ignore. We're going to have to understand how to deal with people. And whenever you talk about people, you're talking about relationships and you're talking about trust. That's where leadership comes in. Well, I am certainly talking about when things go wrong, learning from them, but let's go just a little deeper. Rather than root cause analysis, let me talk to you about what Failsafe offers: latent cause analysis. We often refer to it as LCA. It offers a fresh perspective. Honestly, it pushes us to look beyond just immediate errors and equipment failures and encourages everyone involved uh, to look at themselves, to look at their role and behavior in how an incident occurred and why it happened. And this self-examination, it can lead to real change. I mean, it can honestly challenge people and bring people together. Um, it'll challenge our natural tendency to blame. It's so easy for us to look outside of ourselves rather than to look at ourselves. And what what I'd like to talk about here is why traditional root cause analysis often falls short, and how latent cause analysis works, why it will help you transform both your safety performance and your operational performance. And honestly, it's across industries. This is not married to one industry. Uh, Let me talk a little bit about why traditional RCA often falls short. I mean, typically, root cause analysis focuses on identifying a single cause or chain of causes that directly led to an incident, right? For example, if you have a piece of equipment that breaks down, you'll certainly walk through that and be able to identify parts that wore out, and maybe even why they wore out prematurely. You might even find people that were involved, that there was an operator error. Um, Perhaps something wasn't maintained the way it was supposed to be, according to the manufacturer. Um, and this approach, it certainly can fix immediate problems, but it rarely addresses the deeper uh, systemic issues or the human factors that allowed the failure to occur in the first place. A key limitation that RCA often treats human error is the final cause rather than a symptom. And it's a significant difference with latent cause. Latent cause is never going to end at a human being because we know if we do that, by definition, we'd be guilty of blame. And blame never helps people understand. In fact, it's the opposite of that. Uh, that mindset encourages blaming individuals rather than examining the conditions that influence their actions. I mean, I'm not saying people don't do things wrong. We know from human performance principles that people are going to make errors. I think that's the first principle of human performance. Uh, but you need to slow down and understand why. And that's where latent cause analysis helps you so much. Uh, People will naturally defend themselves, and it's easy to start pointing fingers at other people or other things, even external factors. And this blame game that pops up when something goes wrong, what it does is it prevents honest reflection and it gets in the way of learning. And that's a key problem with RCA. They don't have a good way to deal with that. Another issue with root cause analysis is it can simply become a checkbox exercise. And I've talked to far, far too many people. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. A team will rush in to identify the causes. They'll implement fixes, corrective actions, and they didn't really fully understand the complexity of the incident. And lo and behold, a short time later, months, maybe years, all of a sudden there's more symptoms, there's recurring problems, more frustration among managers, leaders, uh, reliability people who honestly are desiring lasting improvements. So, what I would like to talk to you about today is what latent cause analysis brings to the table, because LCA is going to dig deeper into those hidden factors that create the conditions for failure. And these latent causes, they include uh, a sliver of your organizational culture. It's our culture that affects, think about this, our culture affects how we communicate, it affects how we interact, how we train, how people are prepared for their job, the processes that we follow. Culture influences all of that. And latent cause analysis requires all the people involved to look at themselves, look inward, and acknowledge uh, how they may have contributed to an event. And what we're addressing in doing that is that sliver of culture that can be contributing to our problems. Uh, LCA, it recognizes that people, they're not just sources of error, but they're also part of the system that shapes the outcomes. And when individuals see how their decisions, their actions, their habits, their assumptions actually contribute to an incident, uh, people will be motivated to change. The problem is we often we often are pointing a finger thinking it has nothing to do with us, and we never take just a moment in time to look and see how we may have contributed. And this self-awareness, honestly, it's the foundation for meaningful, sustainable improvement. This is true in all areas of life. And latent cause analysis promotes a culture of openness and trust, right? Instead of blaming, it encourages us to ask questions, right? Like, what is it about the way I am that caused or contributed to this incident? What conditions allowed this to happen? How did our actions or decisions influence this outcome? And most importantly, what can we learn about ourselves from this incident? Because when you start addressing those types of things, all sorts of other problems take care of themselves. Because human beings are the most unique, greatest attribute an organization has. I know AI is threatening all sorts of fronts, but what AI cannot threaten is our unique ability as human beings to be able to adapt and improvise and overcome. And when that's used in a positive way, it's the best thing that can happen to an organization. You don't want people out there not following your procedures, but at the same time, you need to be able to be flexible. You need to be able to change when change is required. And that change will be identified and it will come through people. People will be the ones doing that. Um, I can I could give you examples in different industries. The aviation industry, they've long embraced latent cause analysis. I think one of the things that paved the way for latent cause analysis, honestly, was by Dr. James Reason. He wrote a great book, but he had an example, uh, a model that he referred to as the Swiss cheese model, talking about defects. And I don't disagree with that. My model in my head is slightly different than that. I think of those defects as being a hole within a disk, and that disk on an axis spinning at any RPM. And each unresolved small problem is another defect in the next plate. It's another hole in that plate, and it could be spinning at a different RPM. The defect could be in a different place, and you get those lining up. This is what life is about. When you're working within an organization, you feel like you're up to your waist in alligators, and you just wrestle the biggest ones. The other ones you're living with. That's what these defects are. Well, when something catastrophic happens, those defects line up, and it's like a laser beam would shoot through those, through seven, eight, nine, 10 of those at once, and you'll have a catastrophe. It's where you go from near misses to headlines, and that's the issue at hand. We need to find a way, a process, if you will. This is the value of latent cause analysis that identifies those defects before there's headlines printed. Um, there, there was an incident where they had near misses involving miscommunication between pilots, and an airline uh, used this process to uncover not only a clarity problem they had in their procedures, but also how their high workload contributed to the event. And by clarifying their communication protocols and owning the organizational latent causes, that's one way you address latency is you make it visible. Um, they've significantly reduced those incidents. And that's what we want to do. I wish hospitals would understand what I understand about why things go wrong. And from my perspective, healthcare is often one of the worst because they're so dominated by uh, not assuming personal responsibility because they're afraid of retribution, right? Uh, being being held accountable for things that go wrong, which, when you think about it, is it's almost crazy because people make mistakes. We need to learn if we're going to prevent things in the future. And we need a place where people, rather than running from failure, would be able to actually look at themselves, see how they contributed, and improve, rather than hide behind procedures or unions or counsel and use insurance companies to say, I never did anything wrong. Um, you need a process that's healthy where we can grow from it. Manufacturing plant, I'm running across my mind right now. They were facing, it was frequent equipment failures and safety incidents, and it was driving them crazy. And they were good at doing root cause analysis and addressing equipment issues and even people, right? They'd certainly find operator error and things that people shouldn't have done, but using latent cause analysis, they're able to uncover that sliver, that small part of culture uh, that ignores people uh, being accountable after the equipment's addressed. And it's these deeper issues of what is it about the way we are or the way we do business that revealed the need for people to grow, to change, uh, in addition to equipment and systems changing, people needed to improve. And it's a way for people to do that. It's a tool, if you will, to help people improve in a healthy way, not in a way where people are threatened. Addressing latent causes actually results in fewer incidents and a higher employee engagement. Uh, that's the bottom line. I mean, the benefits, if I were to throw off the top of my head, the benefits of using latent cause analysis is one would be a greater understanding. You're going to uncover things that traditional RCA methods completely miss. And once you uncover these, it's going to give you a clearer picture of why incidents occurs and what to do about them. The second thing that's huge is latent cause analysis promotes personal accountability. We absolutely ban blame, but we require everyone involved to look at themselves in light of what is it about the way I am that may have caused or contributed to this incident. Uh, and that's huge. When people see that, they change and they're actually happy to see it. It builds trust and it brings teams back together. That's huge. So valuable within an organization because that's my third point. It literally builds latent cause analysis helps build a culture of trust. Um, where we're moving away from blame, and all of a sudden we begin to have more open communication and collaboration, which is essential for continuous improvement. Uh, that's why you'll discover latent cause analysis will reduce recurring issues. That's exactly what happens because all of a sudden you start addressing the things that are causing the issues. And when people start seeing that, they're the ones that are looking, they're the ones that are up to their waist in alligators. And they can sit there and identify the small unresolved problem that the CEO of the company does not need to know about, but it bothers that operator on the night shift enough that he goes, you know what? I'm going to take an hour and fix this. That's what reduces recurring errors. And the fifth attribute I think that latent cause analysis brings to the table is as big as anything I've mentioned. Literally, it is developing leaders for life. That's latent cause analysis is as much about leadership uh, because it's about learning and it's about developing people. You want to continuously improve, and to do that, not only are your systems and equipment going to have to improve, your people are going to have to improve. And that calls for greater leadership. And that's exactly what happens when people start to see their part and address it. Uh, Other people see what they're doing and it influences the people around them. I believe managers, safety professionals, supervisors who rethink their approach to problem solving can unlock powerful improvements. That's what latent cause analysis does. It challenges us to look inward and to understand that complex web of factors behind incidents. It does require courage to face things that can be uncomfortable. But when we look at the truth, the reward that comes with it is safer workplaces and stronger teams and better running equipment. And if you want to break free from repetitive problems and help build a culture of continuous learning, you should consider adopting latent cause analysis. It's a step toward developing leaders who will inspire change from within. This isn't something you need from the outside in. This is something you need from the inside out. I hope you enjoyed our time together. My name's Rob Statham. I'd love to talk with you more about how to go beyond root cause analysis and how to use latent cause analysis. Feel free to drop me a line. And until next week or until we talk, stay safe.
Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. We'd love to hear from you. Share your comments and questions below or contact us through our website, www.failsafe-network.com. Once again, that's www.failsafe-network.com. Until next time, have a great day.